They say laughter is harmless, that memes are jokes. About 2 weeks ago, a Norwegian tourist named Mads Mikkelsen, who is not to be confused with the Danish actor from the James Bond and Marvel movies, landed in New York airport. On arrival, this regular soul chasing American lights was detained by immigration agents who demanded access to his cell phone and then denied him entry to the US. What stopped him? It was not a fake passport, not a bomb, not drugs shoved up his ass. It was a meme. Yeah, a meme in his phone. In particular, a meme of US Vice President J.D. Vance, portrayed as a bald baby. This meme was publicly shared by Senator Ron Wyden, and even mentioned in Irish Parliament, where lawmakers called it an attack on freedom of expression. I mean, the fact that a tourist could be detained and deported over a meme in a Western democracy must have sparked global concern. Long story short, he was deported back to Oslo. Nonetheless, did you know that while a bald baby vice president got someone kicked out of America, some people have lost everything over just a screenshot? Like, seriously. I've been asking myself about why a meme causes national outrage when it's about a politician, but not when it erases someone's identity forever. Let's go deeper, guys. This video isn't about that J.D. Vance meme. Today's video is about memes in general, and why they outlive the people they destroy. But first, in the next couple of minutes, we will explain what happened to a random Indian man's face, also the case of a woman who said one thing on Facebook and paid for it with her life, and more. Let's say you uploaded just 3 casual pictures to your Lemon8 account. Sounds harmless, right? But imagine discovering that those same images are now being displayed on a Telegram account, tied to something as dark as distributing illegal content for $4.99 a month. So buckle up. In today's 3 subscriber special, we're diving deep into the stories of real people who've been targeted, manipulated, and even impersonated by internet trolls. And later we shall explain why we only laugh at someone's pain when it trends. In late 2015, the Compton Twitter account was created. At first, it seemed like just a normal, ordinary account made by a woman in her 20s who simply wanted to interact with friends. However, when taking a closer look at the Twitter bio, you begin to realize something is off with this page. It says, proud Christian mother of 3, survivor, anti-bully advocate. Yeah, something's weird here. On X, formerly Twitter, shocked users would interact with Uma's tweets and share them with friends, causing a viral whirlwind that grabbed the attention of many followers and lurkers that were looking for funny memes and shock content. She made tweets like these. My pussy looks like Hiroshima after my man wrecked it. I'm so lucky I met a man who can come on my heart, not just my face. River boy, I'm waiting on you. Pussy needs eaten. Beat it black and blue. Hold in your arms, this love is true. What the What is wrong with this girl? The Compton account would garner cult-like status, with multiple stan accounts popping up to support their queen. And at this point, there was this famous Asian decent YouTuber who ran into the account and made a reaction on her posts. Despite being benefited from a numbers point of view, Compton would fire back at his critical video with a racially charged tweet. The YouTuber would react to this in another video. Ain't no ching chong gonna ruin my Jesus this day is about my Lord and Savior. And on her Instagram, she said, this China guy was bullying me. I will not be called Coconut Head anymore. This is a message to all my haters. Okay, fast forward to late January 2016. Reporters at BuzzFeed discovered that the woman associated with the Compton account wasn't actually named Compton at all, but rather someone behind the account had stolen the identity of a Russian woman and created their own fake persona using photos from this Russian woman's social media. And surprisingly, BuzzFeed would also reveal that they were able to track down the real woman in the Compton photos. You might be asking, but how did this digital media company find out? You see, Compton at one point would upload a photo showcasing the woman standing in front of a poster which had a bunch of Cyrillic text on it. And below this poster was a phone number that, when Googled, led inquisitors to a gymnasium's website on a Russian social media page called vk.com. VK is kind of like a Russian Facebook. This gym was located in Perdelkino, Russia, and on the social media page, it just so happened to have a members list of those who attended it. BuzzFeed theorized that it was possible that one of these people may be related to the woman in the Compton photos. Editors from BuzzFeed would thoroughly search through the profiles of each member of the gym until they finally stumbled across a match, an account made by a Russian woman named Natalia who was using the same photos that had been previously posted by Compton. The actual woman used in the troll account had been found. Upon being contacted, Natalia would be confused, as she would explain that she had no idea that her photos were being used for anything other than her own VK page. Naturally, the woman was shocked and repulsed to learn that a troll had taken her images and was posting obscene vulgarities to the web using her face. Her likeness was being stolen and abused, essentially. The husband? Natalia's husband, a middle-aged man who was the actual person shown in the image where Uma said that she was kissing her brother, was also reached out to and was equally disturbed by this development. Once the BuzzFeed article had been posted showcasing how this account was taking advantage of this innocent Russian couple living in Moscow, people began to sympathize with Natalia, and fans started to turn against Uma Compton. Reports to the Twitter account flooded in. Twitter staff would catch wind of the situation and would terminate the Uma Compton account, which at that point had tens of thousands of followers. Unfortunately for Natalia, she never got any recourse from this disturbing situation. Her photos are now spread all around the internet, many of them associated with disgusting, racist, and incestuous captions, which have likely tarnished her reputation to some degree permanently. The Uma Compton troll accounts still pop up from time to time, and the individual that started all of this madness remains unidentified to this very day. Okay, thank you very much for making it this far of the video. Next we talk about the famous internet meme, which by the way I also used in my previous video, Hide the Pain Herald. And if you will stick around, we will talk about how this famous Indian snapshot turned to Xavier. Spoiler, it was taken somewhere between 2003-2004. But first, Hide the Pain meme. In the early 2010s, everyone wanted to create the next big meme, and you had many folks actively scouring the internet for images of strange-looking people, or people with funny expressions.
My name is András Arato, but people might know me as Hide the Pain Herald.
Now, the journey for Mr. Arato becoming a meme would begin with a bizarre series of events that started in 2010 while he was vacationing in Turkey. During his holiday, András would pose for a numerous ton of photos, as one typically does while enjoying their time off in a foreign land. Mr. Arato would later upload these photos to his personal social media accounts, most notably Instagram, so that his friends could see just how much fun he was having. And, well, ladies and gentlemen, this was where his fate was sealed. After sharing these photos, they came across the Instagram feed of a professional photographer. This individual was said to have been in need of an older gentleman to pose for various stock footage photographs. Seeing András as a good fit for the role, the photographer reached out to Mr. Arato with an offer to pose for these sought-after images. The request sparked András' curiosity, and after thinking things over for some time, he would accept the photographer's request and would participate in multiple photo shoots. Hundreds of stock photos were taken featuring András, with him posing as practitioners from different occupations: a painter, an engineer, a doctor, a professor, etc. While discussing what these photos could be used for, András had only one stipulation. He said the photos could be used for anything except for these specific subjects: politics, religion, and sex. Months later, in 2011, Mr. Arato would take a look around Google to see how these photos had been used. In this search, he found a stock photo of him posing as a doctor that was being used as a hospital's homepage. András thought it was actually pretty cool. He was satisfied with the use of his likeness here. People fell in love with the expression showcased in Mr. Arato's stock photos, and throughout 2011, his likeness had begun to be used in memes on a large scale, the most common of which took the form of the Hide the Pain Herald image macro, which used a photo of him drinking coffee with his signature pained grin. András was overwhelmed by a feeling of bewilderment, as he simply didn't know what to do. Was this a crime that was being done to him? Should he take action to recover the dominion of himself and how he was being portrayed online? He considered trying to take down some of the original stock photos posted of him online, but he couldn't, due to him contributing and writing that these photos could be used publicly. He had zero ownership of his likeness in the circumstance. After weighing his options, András decided to simply weather the storm, and hope that as time passed, people would forget about his silly photos and move on to something else. This obviously wouldn't happen. Unfortunately for András, he was a victim of his own success, as the Hide the Pain Herald meme would go on to become one of the most popular internet memes of all time, and would be relevant for many years to come. And when he fully understood this, that's when András decided that if he couldn't make this go away, he might as well lean into it. After all, millions around the world got joy from sharing his photos and remixing them. How bad could it really be? In March 2013, András Arato would finally take the bold step of coming forward as the man behind the Hide the Pain Herald meme. He did so first on a Russian social media site, where he uploaded a photo of himself holding a piece of paper which verified his identity. It says, "I am alive. Hello." Accepting and publicly acknowledging his meme status would change András' life for the better. People would stop him in the street to take selfies, and he suddenly found himself being invited to travel around the world and attend events that were centered around internet culture. He would also be invited to appear in numerous commercials as well. The Hide the Pain Herald curse had turned into a blessing. That's to do with the meme story of the Hungarian internet celebrity András Arato. Oh, you're still here. Well then, let me also tell you about a Twitter account that took the form of a supposedly, that's the key word, a supposedly lonely Indian store clerk who was looking for romantic companionship. Let's rewind the Gregorian clock a bit, to way back on July of 2013. A Twitter account by the name of Pakalu Papito would make its debut on social media, tweeting out its very first post. "Hello Twitter, I am single." And guess what? Many followed the page, seeing what else the clerk had to say. Before we could go on, a little one for engagement. Today's sponsor is me. This channel itself. Subscribe to Brimful Wise now, and get access to explainers that melt your brain, in a good way. While today's video might just look to be about science meets memes, we actually do more mini-docs with cinema energy and shower thought depth. So do you care to subscribe and turn on the bell for weekly new videos on the dark side of internet culture? Alright, back to the video. So before gimmick accounts for this indie guy would begin popping up, Pakalu would go on to tweet out many self-deprecating jokes playing on the Indian caricature, and also tweeted out funny one-liners that were completely unrelated to Indian stereotypes. For example, "With great power comes great electricity bill. Me. Why am I single? Me. C's face. Me. Oh, that's why. Are you bad Wi-Fi? Because I'm feeling no connection here. Me waking up. I can't wait to go to sleep tonight. If I swallow magnets, will I become attractive? Why get thinner when you can get more dinner?" It will turn out this guy had zero clue all this was happening. Keep watching to find out. As time passed by, Papito would become one of the most followed Twitter pages, amassing over 793,000 followers on Twitter. Damn, I wish you guys would get me to that here on YouTube. But hey, I'll wait, patiently, uploading weekly whys that make you question what your brain was washed with. You know, in 2018, as Pakalu's Twitter popularity was at its peak, shortly after passing 2.13 million followers, the account was inexplicably suspended from Twitter permanently. Fans were saddened, and the exact reason for the termination is still theorized to this day. Whatever the case, Pakalu Papito was gone. But as the old saying goes, you can kill a man, but you can't kill the idea. Even up to this day in 2025, I still see funny replies, or quote-unquote comebacks, made by a profile having this exact guy's photo. And what's interesting is, ever since then, guys have photoshopped the original photo a million times. There were even accounts having the sister of this Indian guy. What's even more interesting of all this is that the actual man in this photo, the actual guy behind the Pakalu Papito meme, it's likely that he has no idea about any of this online nonsense surrounding his photo. This of course begs the question, who actually is Pakalu Papito? Like, not the troll but the actual guy in the picture? Well, it's possible that Pakalu Papito is actually a college educator in India. In 2019, a post originating from 9gag began floating around the internet. This post reported to have solved the identity crisis of Pakalu Papito, claiming that the individual was actually a teacher's assistant named Pros who worked at the Indian Institute of Technology and Computer. To prove this, the poster provides a screenshot from what appears to be a backdated version of the Institute's website, which featured none other than the internet-famous image associated with Pakalu Papito. The photo for Pros now is different. Yes, it kinda looks like the same dude in the Pakalu photo, but obviously it's not the same image. Hard to say if it's the same person. Now, it's very likely that if Pakalu is actually Pros, the photo on the Institute's website could have one time been the Pakalu photo, and has just since been updated. Frustratingly, I've been unable to load up a working Wayback Machine archive of the faculty list proving this. But the Pakalu portrait photo showing the Pakalu Papito image on the Institute website shows almost the entire upper third of the man's body. I started to realize that I'd never really seen that much of him in images used before. Like the meme accounts almost always portrays him with just the neck up. This was a rare Pakalu. A potential lost source image of the meme, perhaps. So I put the image in a reverse image search website, but the link reached a dead end. I used this same link and searched it up using the Wayback Machine and found a working archive from all the way back in 2004. I clicked go, and this happened. The official Institute page for Pros' faculty photo back in 2004 loaded up a JPEG image of none other than Pakalu Papito. But wait guys, I must emphasize that I'm not insinuating that Pros created the Pakalu Twitter account. Although, if it is indeed his old photo, he was an innocent guy who got his picture stolen by an online prankster. Whatever the case, the story of Pakalu Papito is one that showcases just how easy it is for someone's likeness to get hijacked. At this very moment, a publicly posted photo of yours could be used as a mask for internet jokesters halfway across the world, or even worse, a profile picture for an internet criminal. So yeah guys, the man behind the Pakalu Papito photo can't be 100% confirmed at this time, nor can the troll behind the original Twitter account's creation. They remain two enigmatic individuals, one unwittingly and the other very wittingly responsible for one of the most iconic internet memes in history. So now, let's pause. Why does it feel like memes last longer than the people they're made from? Like, why is it that the internet forgets the victims but remembers the punchline? Every few years, someone becomes the meme. They go viral. They become a joke. But then, they vanish. Or worse, they stay frozen, locked in a digital expression of pain or cringe or awkwardness forever. What if the photo you uploaded today becomes a joke tomorrow? What if someone takes your smile and turns it into a headline? Why are we okay making someone go viral for something they never wanted to be known for? Maybe the truth is, we didn't just create meme culture. Meme culture created us. And somewhere along the way, we stopped being people online and started becoming potential content. So my genuine advice to you, my valued viewer, is, or you can take it like a take from this long video, before you put some supposedly fancy photo of you out there, before you pause for a passport photo in some random printing place, ask yourself one thing. Would I want to be remembered for this? Because whether you're a politician, a tourist, a teacher, or just another face on the feed, nobody's immune. Not anymore. The internet doesn't forgive. Or how they popularly frame it, the internet doesn't forget. You know why? Because what we laugh at today, we live with tomorrow. And maybe that's the real why. Thanks for watching. And to the 3 subscribers, thank you for being part of the Brimful's lore. Thank you really for inspiring this video. I wish you a great night. And if you're not subscribed, we publish twice in a week, one video inspired by the viewer's top comment, and another in our secret vault of the questions the internet forgot to ask. Drop a comment and let us know which why has been keep you up late at night. We are here to decipher real code. Thanks for watching.